war begins again.
And welcome to this segment. How you guys doing? I figured I'd do a video that a lot of people have been asking me to do. So we're going to be talking about why it's important for Motorcycle Club protocol. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the show with Judge, that old graybeard segment that we're working on. If you'd like to be on the show, you don't have to be a club member. You to be an independent, just a graybeard that we're going to talk about the past compared to the present and moving forward on that deal. But let's get into Motorcycle Club protocol. Now, I've always been one who believes in tradition, but I also believe, you have to evolve with the times, especially nowadays. But anyway, what are some of the reasons why Motorcycle Club protocol came about? Well, it's easy. In the early days when the motorcycle clubs were coming out of the race team era, they had their colors, they had their names, but they started expanding outside of where they were usually known for. One prime example was Hell's Angels out of California. They started moving east, and they had a name to them. And I think that's because all the media coverage, anything that was bad about a motorcycle club, the media would print. So when they moved out east, they wanted to make sure that other clubs in the area were not taking their name, using their patch, and the local chapters, or charters in their case, would ensure that this wasn't happening with the other groups. Because let's admit, man, you don't want somebody duplicating you, man. You don't want somebody stealing your stuff, trying to write off your name. So that's what local chapters and charters used to do, was make sure others weren't out there using that. Now, down the same lines, let's pull it all the way up to modern times. That is still done. Because when you go, for a blessing, if you will, or go with the sit down with the one percenter club, well, they're going to say, okay, what's your name that you want to go by? What colors do you want to go by? All that good jive, okay? Well, that heckens back to the old days. That's what they used to do. And what that does is make sure, for one, nobody else is wearing those colors, and two, it keeps the peace. So, what happens when a new club comes out? They think they're big bad and going around and causing all problems with the citizens. Well, the citizens do not know the difference between that dominant and the club causing problems. So what happens? Again, then the cops get involved and they go directly to the one percenters. This has happened all the time. So that is one of the major reasons for the protocol, besides, seeing if you got somebody else's colors or not. The one percenters do not want the attention to come to them when you're out there doing stupid stuff. They have enough problems as it is with the federal government profiling them, coming at them. One of the big things that people don't understand with dominance, they have their own problems. They got their own things going on. What makes you think they want to know what's going on in your club, trying to control you? Because that's the number one thing that always comes out. Let's be honest. People say that the 1% are trying to control the club. Again, that's the furthest from the case when they got their own things going on. It's a null argument, if you ask me. So a lot of people are going to say, well, why the 1%er clubs, they didn't seek permission and crap like that. Well, they came out of the, even before the race teams, they're the ones who established everything. So how the hell do you expect them to ask permission when they're the ones who established the scene? That's just a bunch of, malarkey right there, man. It don't make sense, and there ain't no common sense behind that question. So how can you use that to justify going against tradition that's been around for decades. And that's what it has been, is tradition. The ones who think they can go start a club and not go sit down with the dominant are the ones, and I guarantee you, that didn't want to prospect, they didn't want to hang around or get a part of a real club. And that's something that is real confusing. Now, I'm not talking about riding clubs, I'm talking about MC clubs who want to put on that MC cube. These people, they'll gather a few, but most of the time it's only like 2 or 3 guys and they want to slap a patch on and call themselves a club. Well, the reason is they didn't have the nuts to do it with an established club, because there's all kinds of clubs, and I don't care what area you are, there's a club for everybody out there. But what they want to do is circumvent all that stuff, throw on the patch, and have the image. And then they're wondering why the MCs are getting all upset about them, calling them a pop-up club, and good stuff like that. It's because they didn't put the work in for it. That's just like you. Say you're at work and you're doing your best you can to advance up the ladder. Next thing you know, because somebody has a connection to a boss or outside favors, they get a promotion before you. Well, that's kind of what these clubs feel like, because you didn't want to put in the work, but you want to go out in public and wear a patch and play Billy Badass when you didn't have the nuts to do it. So that's why the clubs get upset. But going back to, well, they didn't ask permission to start up. Well, you better learn your history of club life. And while you're at it, learn the history of the scene. Because if you have to ask that kind of question, again, you're just ignorant when it comes to this. Now, a lot of people, they'll beef on Black Dragon or they'll beef on Demon's Row, because they're giving advice out there to people who might not know this. But then you got the trolls, you got the other creators out there saying, well, this is un-American. Give me a break with the un-American crap, okay? It's getting boring. If you guys do not understand the difference between what happens on the streets and a government document that gives you rights from the government, it don't give you rights not to get your butt kicked, man. So get off of that damn argument, for Christ's sakes. And then there's a lot of people that come out, well, you know, the 1%ers now, they're crying and whining about their constitutional rights. Again, there's a huge difference. This is a government agency involved, or DEA, ATF. They're trying to take away a club's trademark and personal property. That has to do with the government. That's where you get into all the amendments of the Constitution. But it don't regulate societies on the street, man. Stop being ignorant with that constitutional crap. Again, I believe that's just a fallback, so you guys can make an excuse in your little heads that there's a reason why not to do that. And I think, and I've said it before, that yeah, maybe, times need to evolve. I never understood why riding clubs who have nothing to do with, most riding clubs are wearing one-piece patches. And it used to be where there was the one-piece was the riding club, a two-piece, you're non-outlaw, three-piece, you're outlaw. Now everything like that's changed. I guess it's about whatever. But to ask a riding club to, go get a blessing, I never understood that unless they were out there trying to act like an MC, which, again, a lot of RCs are used to get around the protocol. Well, everybody's caught on to that little trick, because you might have an RC on your back, but you're going around acting like a motorcycle club. And again, you're not fooling anybody with that stuff. You're not. So, how can I say it? I find it funny that people who talk about the Constitution really don't know about it. It was funny. I was forwarded to this video of some dummy, he was talking about Constitution and the guns. And he's like, well, they can never take away your guns because they need this, how many states, convention of states crap, but they didn't even know what that was, to make an amendment to the Constitution. The problem with that is they're trying to circumvent the Constitution through the courts, through these judges who want to be activists. And all you have to do is look at Virginia right now. Virginia, yeah, they flipped all the seats or whatever. They got the majority. And the first thing that they did the next day, well, we're putting a gun control package together. Really? And then somebody asked them about confiscation of AR-15s. Well, we're talking to our attorney about that. That was their whole goal. So learn the Constitution, man, really. There is ways to circumvent that and just put all kinds of law. That's why I wish the Supreme Court would just come out and say, this is what it means. You can't throw all kinds of gun control laws at people to try to circumvent it. But that's kind of like what these RCs were trying to do, was circumvent it. And the people who came and just started their own clubs and how they want to circumvent it. Now, the new trick is that these clubs will join, say, an alliance of law-abiding clubs where there's cop clubs, or they'll hang around cop clubs. And they do that, and it's just for protection, I guess, so they just say that they're a part of something. But what sense does it really make? There ain't a lot of law-abiding clubs, and they sure to hell don't know how to party. But what sense does it make not going to sit down, learning from these guys that have been around forever, and making connections, man? You're networking. You're able to bring people to your clubhouse for parties. You're able to get involved with the COC. You're able to get involved in the rights. You get a whole network of people across the country most of the time, depending on what club it is, where you have somewhere to go, you have somewhere to party, have somewhere to ride. But again, I guess that don't matter because people are just too scared to go up to a 1%er. I always say, you know what, why? They're men just like you. Yeah, there's reputations out in the media, but that don't mean you don't walk up to them and introduce yourself like a damn man. That's all you have to do, really, to get involved with them. And if you want to go and get a blessing, one of the things you don't want to do is wear colors there or anything like that. Sit down with them because there is a reason to, check your colors. Because one, you might be in the Midwest and decide on this name, but hey, wait a second, there's the same club, and this has happened out on the West Coast or East Coast that you didn't know about, but the 1%ers did, because they know what's going on all over the country. So that saves you a lot of headaches, or a trademark infraction, because guess what? A lot of these clubs, they trademark their stuff now, so you'd be into a lawyer's office and going to court over the infringement. Because you didn't know, but the 1%er clubs did. And then say, hey, you wanted to come up with these colors, use these colors, formations, all that type of stuff. Well, another club already has it. So what? See, this is the type of stuff and the reason why motorcycle club protocol is important. It's not to control you people. Give me a break with that. This has been done for decades, and what makes you think, okay, you only been riding a couple years and you and your buddies want to get together and make that club? What makes you think that you're going to be the ones that break tradition? Because people tell you the Constitution allows it? Well, I don't think you should be in a patch then, because you do not know what's going on the street. You're ignorant. And to think that's going to protect you from a beating, you are sorely mistaken, because I just can imagine some of these new jacks with their patches and they're approached by a club, and it don't even have to be a 1%er club. They get smart, they get the crap knocked out of them, and next thing you know, they're on the ground laying up and saying, hey, I thought that guy said the Constitution protected me, I ought to do what I want when I want. and then goes to call the cops by that time you're already on the ground. It don't make no sense whatsoever. So why not reach out to them? Why not go and say, hey, we got this ideal. What do you guys think? Can you help us out? That's being a man. That's respecting the tradition. I don't care if you don't like the damn club, but you're respecting the tradition that many people did before you were even thinking about putting your leg over a bike. That's what tradition is, man. Keeping stuff alive. Keeping the problems out. A lot of people don't understand. Motorcycle protocol actually stops the violence. It stops the violence, man. Because you can't have one club going out there and saying they support somebody when that dominant don't even know you're supporting them. And next thing you know, you're getting two dominants in a beef over something that you did. So there's a lot of, it stops a lot of problems. It really does. And what it also stops is the dominance from being profiled, man. Because the way cops think at it now is, okay, you got the dominance. Well, make sure you take care of this. That way we don't have to deal with it. And that's actually sometimes, most of the times, the case. They'll come to them and say, hey, what's up with this? Blah, blah, blah. 1%ers will go back and say, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. They turn around, the cops, they leave. Then they go to these and say, hey, man, you're bringing all kinds of freaking heat. I had two ATF, two FBI agents show up at our freaking door because of what you're doing. And some of these clubs that come out really make other motorcycle clubs look bad in the citizens' eyes. Now, citizens, you can say anything you want about them, but they're the ones that, like I said a million times, sit on juries, and they're the ones who vote for the people that make laws. So when you're out there causing problems, you're bringing it down on everybody. Everybody. Because you're ignorant, and you want to play some part in the show. That's not how the real world works. And for those who listen to cops and all that crap, give me a break, man. There's always been that dividing line between cops and club members, and I think it's always gonna be that way. Because quite frankly, cops are full of crap, man. They're the ones who are looking in the mirror in the morning. They got a badge and a gun and a nice blue uniform on. And then at nighttime, they want to dress up as the people that they're trying to bust. How does that make any sense for you to listen to that kind of crap? That's one thing I don't get, because bikers used to have common sense. Always had common sense. But nowadays, it's like, man, you guys went nuts. You went crazy. You're lunatics, man. You're sitting there, you know what, and I don't care if you support cops or not, man, because there are good cops out there. But I cannot understand, and maybe you guys can let me know this, I cannot understand why you would trust somebody who can't even figure out who they are. You cannot be loyal to two different philosophies. I don't get it. You to debate them philosophies, but how the hell are you gonna say, hey, I believe in this and I took my oath to uphold and protect, but on the other hand, I want to try this lifestyle, going to a bar and cause all kinds of ruckus? I talked about an incident here in Elmhurst, Illinois, where there was a cop club that actually went into a bar acting like the club members, some bad Billy Budd badasses. Next thing you know, they start a fight with the citizens, and when it gets hairy, they pull out their badges. What kind of person does that, man? Really? And next thing you know, them citizens didn't know they were a cop club. They thought they were a support club for a dominant. And then you wonder why everybody, complains about these cops wearing three-piece patches. Personally, I think they do it on purpose. There's been times where cop clubs go out there, cause a ruckus, and next thing you know, the media's reporting on the 1%er clubs or support club of the one percenters out there causing the problems, when in actuality it was their own cops that were supposed to serve and protect that were causing all the issues. So I guess my conclusion to all this is, be a man. Understand your tradition, understand the scene, get off your computer, get out of that Constitution and crap, and go out and meet people. Live the lifestyle. Don't live it from behind a computer, man. Get out there, live it, breathe it, and then you'll understand what a club member is all about. You'll understand why they look down on people when they try to act like something they didn't earn. Because, you know, what's that? We put the biker lifestyle or the biker scene, club scene out of it. What do we say about regular people of that? They're fakes. They're posers. And that's exactly what's happening when you go out there, make a patch up, and you run to either Leo or you're on the internet. I have never seen so much crap until the internet came out. And I think the internet is the reason why all these clubs are popping up, because I see them half the time recruiting online. Why are they recruiting online? Because they want to get so big and so bad. You're mimicking the one percenters, man. How do you call yourself real if you're mimicking someone else? You're supposed to, you know what? You pop this club up, you're supposed to have your own type of traditions going on. Why are you trying to live off of somebody else? You know, that's just fake. Fake as hell. Another thing, you know what? Another reason why, again, protocol's good is because when the parties are great, but what you're missing out in is making you run to your backyard and stay in your backyard. It's you don't want to show your faces. So protocol gets you out there to be able to show your faces. Get out there again to make your connections. So what would you rather do? Be a scared little rat and hide in your backyard, or go where no clubs are at? Don't go to biker events because you're scared to show your patch. Or would you rather go party, get all your networking connections, and have fun and live what a motorcycle club member's life should be, which is partying, having fun, and just enjoying the lifestyle? You know, that's a question I would ask all those that are member of the pop-up clubs, members who follow these idiots on a national scale, Lollipop. Why did, you know, that's another question. Why would you go to a pop-up club like that? You know, I seen a couple of them, that interview we did with a former Iron Legacy guy, and they were crying and whining, this ain't true, that ain't true. Bull crap, man. We've seen it. We know what you guys are about. Don't get on the CM's channel or on the podcast and say, well, this ain't true. Give me a break. How about this? Why don't you guys send somebody over here and get on the radio and we can do an interview? And I won't be lobbing no softball questions at you guys if you want to do it. But what makes you want to join something that was set up by somebody who was kicked out bad by his old club, testified against them in his old club, and are just selling patches? Does that make you proud to wear that patch? Really, does it? Or is it something where you just want to turn around, look in the mirror and say, hey, I got this patch, but deep down inside yourself, deep down, you know you didn't earn that patch and you're a part of something that everybody else in the club community hates. I got to give it to all the one percenters. Yeah, they have all their differences, but when it comes down to a particular types of club, they're all in agreement, man. Too bad they couldn't do that with everything else. So I don't know about you, man, but I don't want to look like an idiot. So why would I put on somebody's patch from a club like that? Again, it comes down to you didn't want to prospect, you didn't want to hang around, you wanted it quick, and that's why you did it. Personally, I wouldn't join a club unless you're hanging around for a long period of time, getting to know the people, and then prospecting a long time. Because if not, you didn't earn it. And you know what? That rag ain't worth a crap. You might as well take it, go wash your car, or, wipe your ass with it, because there's no meaning behind it because you didn't earn it. So that's just a couple of the points that I have as far as protocol's concerned, why it's important. Let me know what you guys think in the description box. Don't forget, every Sunday there's a new episode of Motorcycle Madhouse over at motorcyclemadhouse.com. Don't forget to check out our support gear. Man, Hooligans Inc. is killing it, man. We got a whole bunch of different design for support wear, so go over there and get it over and put it on you, man. But I'll see you in the next segment.